Alright, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Samak. Before I do anything, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad. And with that, this is Brother Samak coming at you with another lesson, Lord will. This is edifying. It says 7 times Paul contradicted Jesus, but real name is Yahweh Shai. Okay, so Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, and those are the true names whereas we shall be saved by. Okay, the only names we can be saved by, the only names we're going to be calling upon in these last days. Okay, so with that, yeah, this woman, man, is going off, and honestly, I didn't know that there was people like this, because there's a camp like that does not believe in Paul and everything like that. But I never actually seen someone that is not an Israelite camp that doesn't believe in Paul. So this is actually a first for me. But it's not surprising because, hey man, so many different beliefs out there, so many different things. Hey, the Lord, and that's all of the Lord anyway. The Lord has certain people that is for Him, certain people that's not for Him, certain people that believe in the Old Testament and not the New. Some people that believe in the New Testament but not the Old. So it's all separation, and that's all due to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And hey, call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know. So yeah, we're gonna listen to this and make some points. And again, Lord will, this is edifying. Here we go. Make sure to turn this up. Good.
Then a check. You have another box checked. And so if you consider that Paul is checking the boxes of false prophets, and Jesus was so eager to warn against these false prophets. Let's just pretend for a minute. We'll work within the hypothetical framework that Jesus was God, that Jesus was who he, claimed to be, or who the church claims him to be, that he was actually making a prophecy, and he was prophesying that there would be these false prophets. Well,
first and foremost, Salakia. That's what a lot of people too believe as well, that Jesus is so-called Jesus, but Yahweh Shai is Yahweh, but it's not true. They're two different. They're different. They're not in the same. When it's talking about being in the same, them being one, it's talking about being in one mind. Because when you keep reading, it says that they both will be one as we are one, and we all will be one. So be what? On one accord, one mind, And she looked cross-eyed. That's crazy. I stopped at the right time. But all right, let's keep going.
Paul checks that box, every box, and then some, because not only is he checking those boxes, performing signs and wonders, casting out demons, deceiving people, driving away the elect, not only is he doing all of that, but he's also teaching a completely different message than Jesus taught. He's adding to the message a lot, even. And sure, if you believe that Jesus spoke to Paul and is speaking through Paul, then, you can say that it is the message of Jesus. But anybody can say that Jesus is speaking through them. Pastors do it all the time. Just because Paul claims that he had a vision of Jesus doesn't mean that he actually did. And people will argue that his life changed and all that. I think that there could have been a lot of motives for why Paul did what he did, but I'll save that for another video. Maybe I'll do a whole video on why I think Paul is not trustworthy, and kind of deep dive into Paul, because it is a fascinating subject. He is a very mysterious character of the Bible to me, and so I have a lot of thoughts on him. But what I want to do now is I want to look over the contradictions between his teachings and Jesus. There are a lot of contradictions between their teachings, but there are also a lot of contradictions between their own teachings, right? So Paul contradicts himself. We see Jesus contradicting himself when he says to love others and to just love people, but then he says you have to hate your whole family to follow him. So we're seeing a lot of discrepancies between.
All right, this is what, because I listened to I'll say 8 to 9 minutes of the video, and this is the one thing that kind of made me realize one of the many things. Honestly, I should have went back more, but because she doesn't even understand Paul, and clearly she doesn't understand Yahushua either. When he said that, again, hating your mom and your father, right, and stuff like that, it's not literally meaning to hate them, you know. So let me get this real quick. What's that? Yeah, I can't find it. Wait, is it Mark? Um, cannot be my disciple. Let me see. Cannot be. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Right here. Car. This is Luke chapter. Right. Yep. Uh, Luke chapter 14, verse 25. It says, and there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sister, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Okay? And if you look up the word hate, let's see what that says. Oop, nope. Let me see something. Nah, that's not the one. Go to the Matthew. Shoot. Because it doesn't literally mean. Because if that's the case, then why does it say in the Old Testament about what? Honoring thy mother and thy father, you know? And everything like that. It doesn't mean to literally hate. It means to well, honestly, as far as like this, you don't like their ways, you know, so you hate that, you know, and to love, to basically again to love less. But Salakia. Ay ay ay. 14, 25. There you go. There you go. Because this is the other version. Right? Because this is the same thing. It's the same aspect of it. So this is Matthew's chapter 10 and verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So that's what it's saying. Okay, it's the same thing. If you was to say hate, you know, that hate really is just love less. Okay, so if you love your father and mother more than me, is not worthy of me. So long story short, it's true, man. Yeah, you gotta put the Lord first, especially when coming into this life, because scriptures say that that he that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. Roughly paraphrasing. I don't want to quote that wrong. Let me get that real quick. There it is. No man. That's what it is. No man. This is Second Timothy chapter 2 and verse 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. Because all in all, he chose us, just like it says in John 15 that he chose us out of the world, right? And he chose us to what? To bring forth fruit, and that our fruit shall remain. So we have to what? Let go of the life that we had and not be entangled with all this stuff that goes on in this world, because 9 times out of 10 your family, your mother, your father, your sister, brother, and everything like that is going to be entangled with this world. So you don't want to do that. Scriptures say to in other words that be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right? So here it is. You got to realize that it's deeper. I should say, as far as like how can I say? You have to follow if you want to save. Hey, well, I mean, I did have it. So chapter Matthew chapter 10 and verse 38. Keep going. It says, "And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me, is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it. He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it." So all in all, this is for the truth, man. If you do love your father and your mother and your family, you would what? You would actually follow the Lord, really, because I believe the scriptures even say that you and your household will be saved. We're doing it because, well, first and foremost, fuck, damn, sorry, I had to stretch. But yeah, so really, we're doing this for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but also, doing it to save our ourselves and our family. So yeah, man. And most importantly, to save our, I think I said it, to save ourselves. you know so so when it says, again, hating your mother and father, it really just means to love less. Not to literally legit hate your mother and your father. No, he did not contradict himself. So she doesn't know the scriptures, and then she actually doesn't understand Paul either, because she says something that I forgot what she said. But now let me go back. I want to go back, because she said something that was like wild. Because wait, what was it? No, let's just keep going. I forget where it was. I think it's right here.
Pretend for a minute. We'll work within the hypothetical framework that Jesus was God, that Jesus was who he, claimed to be, or who the church claims him to be, that he was actually making a prophecy, and he was prophesying that there would be these false prophets. Well, Paul checks that box, every box, and then some, because not only is he checking those boxes, performing signs and wonders, casting out demons, deceiving people, driving away the elect, not only is he doing all of that, but he's also teaching a completely different message than Jesus taught. He's adding to the message a lot, even. And sure, if you believe that Jesus spoke to Paul and is speaking
actually, she was right here.
Perceive when you talk to me and interact with me is Jesus. It's not me, it's Jesus. Like,
no.
And they're going to claim to be me, or claim to speak for me, and they're going to deceive a lot of people. I would consider Paul to be someone who deceived a lot of people. If he wasn't preaching the true message, then a lot of people were deceived by Paul, because Paul, he was responsible for kind of the spread of Christianity. And I think it's interesting that Jesus says that false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive. Paul cast out demons, he performed miracles, he performed several miracles according to the text, according to the New Testament. And so he's checking the boxes, right? Like, he comes on scene. In Galatians 2:20, which was my favorite Bible verse, in my teenage years. I had it painted above my bed. It says, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. So he is making a statement about how he has essentially died and Jesus took over, and now the one that's living through him is Jesus. So he's essentially propping himself up to be on the same level of Jesus. And it's so funny how so many Christians see this as kind of an act of humility when you die to yourself and let Jesus live through you. I think that what they're doing is they're actually putting themselves on the level of Jesus, and they're claiming that this isn't me, this is Jesus. Who I am now, who you perceive when you talk to me and interact with me, is Jesus. It's not me, it's Jesus.
Well, Paul even explained as far as like, well, there's many things I could think about, but I mean, just what I said as far as like the Matthews, bearing your cross and letting go. You gotta let go of the life that you once had. So being a new creature, and knowing what Paul did in his time, you know, he was Saul, but then changed his name to Paul. So here it is. He became a new creature. So he wasn't wrong. He changed his ways. That's what you have to do when you first come in. You know, you change your ways. You repent, and even Yahushai blinded Paul. So Paul got his ass beat, man. You know, Paul got his ass beat, man. You know, Yahushai blinded him, I believe, for 3 days or something like that, and went through his tribulation, you know, and all the things that he'd been through. It made him into a better man and everything like that, and he looks at things I'm sure he looked at things in a different perspective, you know, because she said, long story short, he changed his life, you know. He changed his life, and he became a disciple of Yahushai. Yahushai taught Paul. He's the one that taught Paul, you know. And even Peter bigged up Paul, man. You know. So it's like you can't get around it, man. You know. But people don't understand Paul. The people don't understand, and even Paul even said he's hard to be understood, you know. So not a lot of people can get him, and Paul himself is a stumbling block towards a lot of people, man. But hey, the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded, you know. And that's what Paul wrote in Romans 11:7, you know.
That's exactly what pastors are doing. That's what people are doing when they say, like, I've died to myself and Jesus lives in me. You're basically calling yourself Christ. You really are. So, again, Paul is kind of propping himself up as Jesus. He's performing signs and wonders. It even says that he will lead astray as many as possible, even the elect. Now, I think the elect, according to Jesus, was the Jews, because Jesus was a Jew. He was forming his own kind of Jewish cult. He followed the Jewish religion, and
this is the one.
That's what he was there to minister. He was there to minister to the Jews, according to his own words. But then Paul comes along, and he starts ministering to the Gentiles. And a lot of the Jewish people that were a part of this movement didn't like that. They didn't want the Gentiles to be welcomed in, and you see a lot of people leaving in the earliest days. That's why you have texts about, if they went out from us, they were never a part of us in the beginning, because people were leaving the faith in the very beginning. And so it's interesting that if the elect were the Jews, according to Jesus, and he's saying that the elect will be led astray and leaving in the beginning because they were inviting all these other people in. Well, then a check. You have another box checked. And so if you consider that Paul is checking the boxes of false.
So that's what I wanted to say. So I finally found it. She does not understand. And it's funny, I stopped at it another time where she looks cross-eyed. But that's not the point. The point is, as far as this, that she doesn't understand that Paul was sent to the Gentiles. He was the one that was, because he can relate. He spoke, I believe, 3 different languages. He was for he was to wake up the Gentiles, which actually were actual Jews who didn't know who they were. Okay, he was actually doing the the right thing, but she doesn't know that. But the fact that uh even when I'll say again, it was the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. Paul couldn't relate or talk to um uh 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 what's it the Southern Kingdom, which consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You know, because here it is, uh they were bragging and boasting about how, what was it? They were bragging and boasting the fact that they are an Israelite, but Paul was explaining it's more than just being an Israelite. That's why Paul even said that I counted all but dung that I may win Yahweh Shai. He doesn't care about how his title or the fact that he is an Israelite, man. You know, he doesn't. And I'll say this: you still have to be an Israelite. But here again, that's what. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But Paul even said that he doesn't care about him being an Israelite. He doesn't care about anything like that, you know, because it's more to just being an Israelite, you know. And that's why also, and I believe it was in Romans 11 that he was explaining about the grafting in. You know, he's explaining about the Gentiles, which were actual Israelites who didn't know who they were, practicing the customs of the Greeks, right? Of the heathen. And he's trying to tell them to come back to the Heavenly Father and the Son. And I'm gonna explain everything, man. But it's just, you know what? Let me get a little account, man. And Paul is beautiful, man. He let me just get let me see. Proving the fact that I can make this into a 2-part video, to be honest. But I can do, as far as proving the Gentiles, let me see. 2 Corinthians 12. No, 1 Corinthians 12. Come on. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 1. I now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would have you know, it's like I would not have you ignorant. Ye know, and these are brethren as in, you know, I'll get into that too. Not the brethren as in the brothers that are Israelites, okay? They're Israelites. So all in all, yeah, he was preaching to the Gentiles, but they were Jews, okay? So we're not going to go and teach to the heathens, or, you know, and Paul did not teach to these heathen, okay? So it says, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were, meaning past tense, were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Okay? So all in all, Paul was trying to get them out of being in that Gentile mindset. You know, bringing them back to, again, being grafted back in to the ways of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, the heritage that they lost. I believe that's in Jeremiah, where it says, "Thou shalt discontinue from thy heritage." Okay, so we discontinue from our heritage, but what? We are going to bring it back and being grafted back in. Okay, so when it's talking about the grafting back in Romans 11, how can you be grafted back in to something that you were never a part of? So all in all, what do I mean by that? These heathen never were started with us. So why is it that they would be grafted back in? It makes no sense. So that being said, these Gentiles are Israelites that didn't know who they were and that practiced the customs of Israelites. This is Acts chapter 6 and verse 1. And in those days when the number of the disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews, because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. Let's look up Grecians. Grecians, right? Because they were being called Greek, Hellenistes, right? Hellenistes, which means what? A Hellenist, one who imitates the manners and customs or the worship of the Greeks and used the Greek tongue. B, used in the New Testament of Jews born in a foreign land and speaking Greek. So they were born in a foreign land speaking Greek, but they're Jews. Okay? Jews, that's why in Acts, the 2nd chapter, where it says about Jews, devout men coming out of every nation, right? And yeah, verse 5, Acts 2 and 5. And these were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation, under heaven. So that being said, it was Jews coming out of all these nations, because why? James 1 and 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. That shows what? It says, and greetings. So it says that they were scattered, okay? They were scattered. They were still scattered. They were out of all these nations, coming to these other nations, coming out of these other nations. That what were they celebrating? And it says right here, verse 1, and when the day of the Pentecost was fully come, there were all with one accord in one place. The day of the Pentecost, okay? The Pentecost, which is what? That's a high holy day for the Israelites, okay? So that being said, these are Jews coming out of these nations, okay, to celebrate the Pentecost. All right. What's it? So these Gentiles that Paul was talking to, okay, and that's why you see, and I believe it's in Romans. I can't remember. It's either Acts or in Romans, or yeah, Acts or Romans. Let me see. The unknown God. Acts. That's what I thought. It says Acts chapter 17 and verse 22. It says, then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For I passed by and beheld your devotions. I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship. Him do I declare, him declare I unto you. So all in all, Paul was introducing the true and living God, okay, and to them, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. So Yahweh, which is the true name, in the name of his son Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So he was introducing them. Okay, so the devotions, he says, I beheld your devotions, which is what? These other idols, okay? So they were worshiping these other idols, okay, which he was trying to get them out of, okay. And these are Gentiles, but these are Jews that didn't know who they were, okay. So she's going off. So that's number one. Number two, going into as far as like the Jews that did know who they were bragging and boasting about a lot of different things, as far as them being better than let me get that real quick. Because that's why Paul even said this about boasting not against the branches. Wait, Salakia. Alright. That's better. Okay. So, yeah, and that's funny because I remember hearing, I think it was HOI saying, why would they be bragging and boasting or anything like that? And they don't understand that it says, wait, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. So again, why did he say that? He said he boasts not against the branches because all in all, we're the same, number one. But here it is, there was Israelites that knew who they were, that what was it? That were looking at the Gentiles, which were also Jews. They were looking at them as if that they're like not the same, or that they're just nothing, with disgust. That's why even Peter Yahweh Shai was put Peter in that trance to accept the Gentiles when it comes down to it. And again, Cornelius being an Israelite, because he was an Israelite. That's the grafting back in. Real quick, what's that? I think that is Romans 10. No? Or is it? Wait, I can't remember. No. Is it Acts 10? Yes, Acts 10. Salakia. Right, so I'm going to read a little bit of this and then go back. So this is Acts chapter 10 of verse 13. Acts of verse 12. Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and thrice meaning 3 times. So 3 means what? Understanding. Okay? It says, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now it says, while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. Now, Christians like to bring this out too, because they say, "Oh, this is to justify that we can eat pork and crab and shrimp and lobster." But no, dude. I really want to say the N-word, but but really, yeah, no, man. Like that's not what it's talking about. trying to justify them eating pork, but that's not the case, man. So, if you read down again, yeah, common or unclean, right? Let's read down. There you go. There we go. Okay, verse 24. It says, "And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and he called, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. And Peter took him up, saying, 'Stand up, I myself am a man.'" So, and that's beautiful because Peter even didn't look at himself as a high man of stature or anything like that. So, that's beautiful, man. So literally Cornelius was like, oh, it's Peter. And he went down and bowed down and everything like that. Like, and Peter's like, "Man, get up. I'm not no that, you know what I'm saying? I'm nothing, You need to bow down to me." And that's the type of time we have to be on, you know? It says, "And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. He said unto them, Ye know how that it is unlawful, an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company and come unto one of another nation." It says, and it says, "But the Most High hath shewed me that I should not call a man common or unclean." So, that being said, that vision was for this, right? So, and again, let me read that part real quick. It says, "Or come unto one of another nation," because he came out, and again, that he's not from that nation. He doesn't come from that nation, but he's of that nation. So that being said, he's of that nation. So that being said, he's okay. It's just like, again, an Israelite that is born in a different land, and he's speaking Greek, calling himself a Greek, but he is not Greek. Okay? So, coming out of every nation, going back to Acts 2. Okay, so Cornelius is an Israelite. He was an Israelite, and he still is an Israelite. Okay? So, that's basically what it was, because they were called unclean, and all that, man. The Gentiles, which were Jews that didn't know who they were. That's why, again, Romans 11, where it says, "Boast not against the branches," that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the Jews, aka the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the ones that knew who they were. They were bragging and boasting about them, which is stupid, because honestly they were worse than the Gentiles, really, but yeah, man. Oh man, it's so much to think about, man, because Peter and the apostles, they were sent out to deal with the southern tribe, but Paul himself was to deal with the Gentiles. Okay, so the Gentiles was treating Paul more better than the northern tribe. I mean, the southern tribe. It's crazy, and this is even today. Why is it that our people we can't even get along. We can't even get along with our own people nowadays, man. You know. So there's nothing new. You know. Makes me think about that. But that's one account, right? I'm gonna do a continuation with this. So I'm gonna stop right here. So and then I'm gonna start a continuation. So shalom, shalom, shalom.